All right.
Okay.
All right. GK, episode 4.
Yep.
Again, we're live. We're back.
Yes.
What's going on? Hit the like or subscribe button.
Yes, please.
Donald told me to remember to say that.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to become pros at this, so it's we're getting all the little things we have to do.
We just hit 100 subscribers just the other day, so thank you guys. Really appreciate the support, and we're back at it for another episode, a very special episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to say that the comments we've been getting out there, it's been really, really helpful because it's, for one, it's sort of letting us know that you guys are liking what you hear. And also I'm really encouraged about Kick Flipper and just having the community, our audience being involved with this next phase of GrindKing, where we can help create the future of skateboarding, and the products that we create will be a collaboration of stuff that you really want to see. So hopefully that works out.
Yeah, definitely. So what did you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about kind of continue where we left off on the trucks. So because there's still a lot of evolution of how the trucks and the hardware went. So I think we left off at the GK3. So I was gonna briefly go through the next 4 models up to the 7 at this episode. We want to, in my time, I've designed so many trucks that it's gonna have to take a few episodes more to get through the rest of the models. But I figure, a little at a time, it'd be good.
Done a lot of engineering.
Yeah,
had a lot of ideas over the years.
I would like to say, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that I'm probably the most, I think I've designed more trucks than any other truck designer.
Any other truck designer.
So, I want to be like continuing this tradition of keep improving the trucks and innovating stuff on a consistent basis. So
do you dream in trucks sometimes? Like, do you fall asleep and you start seeing something in your mind, almost like looking at the Bridgeport line from the last time when you were stoned in your apartment?
Well, I mean, I don't want to say I get stoned every time. Yeah. I'm not that much of a stoner, okay?
Well, I said dreams. I didn't say getting stoned every time.
Well, I would say that the way I am in life in general, I'm always looking at something in terms of how it was built. So when I go into a building and it's an unusual building, I'll always look at the framing or the structural engineering of how it was put together. I'm really fascinated by that, and just in general things whether I'm at an airport or airplanes or cars or trucks. I'm always looking at everything, every little part in detail to see what could be done to make it better. And that's how I approach that's how I come up with new stuff, is I'm just constantly geeking out on every little thing. And
what makes something work?
And why does it work that way? And there's something that Elon Musk, I listen to sometimes what he says, because he's a person that is always kind of trying to be on the cutting edge of what he's doing. And one of the things I learned from listening to him was this idea of first principles, which is a physics thing, where when you look at something, you have to kind of take a look at it as if it was never done before. So rather than looking at a truck and going, oh, well, everybody's done this kind of the same way, that's how it's been done, I like to look at it and say, well, what if I was designing it from scratch, and how would I approach it? And so, and there'll be maybe an episode coming up. We even talked about maybe the next one about doing something where it's the art of trucks. Because for me, it's my art. That's how I look at it. It's sort of me creating something, but I look at it as more of an artistic way, even more than, I guess, engineering too. It's kind of art and engineering mixed together. But I look at it as like a very, I put my heart and soul into the passion of designing it to where it's like, it's an art piece for me.
Would you say your canvas is the skater's innovation? Like, when do you see your art come to life when you see a skateboarder do a trick and your trucks are on their deck and they do something pretty amazing?
Well, yeah, that's the gratification, is if I could create something that ends up being appreciated, then I feel validated and I feel, really kind of inspired to keep going with that.
You're the Elon Musk of skateboard hardware.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't take it that far,
yeah.
but I definitely like to say that I want to try and be at the forefront of skate truck technology,
Always trying to get
and
better.
hardware technology. Yeah, and also, by the way, there's this idea from the past I want to bring back, not just trucks and hardware, but clothing, because I've done. Some people may not know, but me and my brother started this company, Von Dutch. It was his idea, and we came together and made it happen. And so I have a lot of experience in designing clothes and even backpacks like GrindKing. Maybe a lot of skaters don't know this, or some may remember, but GrindKing had really innovative backpacks. That was another thing I would design.
It actually held the board.
It actually held it. It carried the board in a unique way. And I want to again, talk to our audience out there. Do you think I should bring back the GrindKing backpack and take that to another level? Because I think that's a part of a skater's life is having a way to carry your board and carrying your gear as well.
I'd like to be able to hop on a bike and then have my board on the back, have two more modes of transportation while I'm moving around. It's like you got the car, you got the bike in the back, you park your car, hop on the bike with the skateboard in the backpack, and then you can roam around anywhere, especially in this city, as the transportation gets a little bit better.
So I'm putting it out there, should I bring back the GrindKing backpacks and maybe have a kick flipper for that? And then if I do, I'd like to hear some suggestions that maybe I should add to it for the new one.
For sure. There's a lot of cool backpacks out there. What was that company that you showed me a while ago? It was, we were talking about, it was on Kickstarter. You know what I'm talking about. They like text me like all the time. They make like the wallets and the backpacks for photography.
Oh, Peak Design.
Yeah, Peak Design.
Yeah. They rule Kickstarter. They have a strategy where they launch their new designs on Kickstarter, and they have such a great following there that every time they do something, they just kill it.
Yeah, they got cool stuff. I haven't bought anything from them yet, but they keep. I signed up for their email letter. They just bomb me with texts like every day. We got this new thing, but they're always innovative.
Well, they specialize more for photographers.
Yeah.
They all these gear and backpacks and things they do, and they're really good at it. They come up with really innovative stuff for photographers. So I'm thinking like, well, maybe I should do custom stuff that's designed straight for skaters, backpacks and clothing. Because that's another part of GrindKing's history, was this hardware. We talked about before a little bit about hardware. There's two types of hardware that I want to make, which is HAREWARE and HAREWERE.
I love how you flip the N in the GrindKing, and then you flip the E in Creeper.
Yeah.
Oh, you're good with your words.
I screwed up. WEAR.
WEA. Oh, yeah. Hardware. Because you're wearing it.
Yeah,
get it right.
Yeah, get it right. Hardware. So hardware and hardware. But the hardware will be, this time around, what I used to do in the past when I used to design clothes, I would kind of do it on my own, pretty much. I would just think of something that I liked, and I'd make it, and hopefully people liked it. This time around, I want to bring Team GrindKing into the picture. And that's everyone out there that wants to be on Team GrindKing. Anyone can be on Team GrindKing. You just got to join. And part of the benefit of that is that you can suggest things to us, and we'll use that feedback to create new stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, how cool would it be to get a product out, and then you thought of something in the design or something in the yard, and then you get to see it come to life and come to fruition.
Yeah, I think that makes it. I think that this new world we're in now, as opposed to back then, is that it's kind of a decentralized world where it's like people want to be part of something. They don't want to just buy it and just hope some company gets it right. to me, the new world is about bringing all these different minds and ideas together and creating products that are really what people are interested in, rather than you telling them they should buy it. They're telling you what you should make.
It's pretty cool. Like, we really kind of are like in the Matrix, you know? It's like if you have a vision for something, you can really make it happen just with the internet and how everything is. I feel like with skateboarding, it doesn't, sometimes these companies don't really allow us to have a say. It's either you have to be on the pro team and you get your pro model and then you get to say in the design, but you know, that's one person who's writing that hardware or one person who's writing that deck, when most people that are actually using your products, they're the ones who should have a say. I think we should flip that script.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, pro skaters have an important place in skateboarding.
Of course.
And you have to, you know, they kind of lead the way in how trends go. But the rest of the skaters out there, in my opinion, which is like 99.9 of them compared to the very few.
They're me.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent there, and it hasn't been tapped. And I want to tap into that, because I think that the say of the masses is really where, you know, that's the bulk of what you're trying to design stuff for. And I mean, they're the ones supporting you, they're the ones buying your stuff. So let them tell you or tell us what they want. I think it makes more sense. And at the same time, you know, as far as pro skaters, we want to invite pro skaters to be part of Team GrindKing too, of course. And I want to be innovative this time, rather than just, you know, the old-fashioned way, or maybe still done today, is they get maybe a monthly amount, and maybe they get perks for this and that, and they get free stuff. Well, that's cool, but I think there's in this new day and age, there's all these innovations that can happen with technology and even affiliate programs, to where they have an opportunity to make even more money. Yeah. And it's a win-win, because it's quantifiable, as opposed to just like hoping they do their part. So we want to include everybody, pro skaters and just any skaters, to be part of this next phase. And it's an experiment. We'll see. I mean, I hope I'm right, but I think that this is the time for that.
Yeah, Team GrindKing, all encompassing.
Yep.
Invite everybody in.
That's right.
Yeah, come on in. Unless you're not a nice person.
Yeah.
And then stay away. Yeah. Oh, GrindKing will get you. Let's talk about the trucks. Segue a little bit.
So,
you got some on the table
the
there.
GK3 was where we left off on the trucks. And then here's the GK4. And I put notes on it from many years ago, so I would remember. But this one was, it was actually, I changed the strength of the hanger, made it a little stronger. And it kind of had the old logo on there. You can see it was a GK in there, but it was before I had this kind of incorporating the G and the K into one more of a clean logo, which ended up being on the GK5, which you can see it there. That was the GK5 had the GK kind of together, and then I've still evolved it. I'm working on a new one that's kind of a hex. I'll introduce it at some point, but I've got a.
I think I threw it up there once.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of it's like the hex, because it's like the Allen head. Yeah. With the GK in the Allen head shape. So
we'll put the new one up as a watermark on the channel. You should see it right now.
So anyway, this truck, the GK4, was a very light truck. It was lower, a little bit lower than I think now. And then the GK5 was a higher. It was a high. So I had two sizes. There was a low and there was a high. So you know, it's hard to see, but there's one as an axle that's a little bit higher up. And the higher up you have less wheel bite, and you also can run bigger wheels. You have less wheel bite. But the low, one of the things about, like, let's say cars and physics again, is center of gravity. So a lower center of gravity, so the lower you can get your weight to the board in a sense, the more control you kind of have. So in other words, if you had a really super high truck,
Yeah.
I mean, you could have giant wheels and stuff and you wouldn't get wheel back, but you're higher up, the board is higher off the ground. So it's not as stable.
Yeah. The lower you are to the ground.
So
the more
that's why
stability you have.
race cars are as low as possible. You know, they try and just lower it to, you know, to the point where it's ridiculously low, because then they can go really fast and they're more stable at that speed. So it's similar on a skateboard, but the interesting thing about a skateboard is that it's not just going, let's say, fast or just down a hill. It's also spinning in the air. They're flipping.
Yeah.
Which is a little different from a race car. I mean, hopefully you're not flipping in the air in a race car.
Unless you're doing some
you're not doing
off-road
a kick flip on a race car would not be good.
I've seen people do kick flips in like off-road vehicles though.
Yeah,
land back on. So because those are higher.
Yeah. So you have to. So there's a trade-off. So with a lower truck, you can imagine it would flip easier because the weight is closer to the board.
It's distributed differently.
Yeah.
So, you get a little bit more flip.
there's some physics and engineering to. There's more going on in trucks than maybe you would think in terms of the geometry, the center of gravity, the wheelbase. All these things play a factor in how the board was going to feel. And every skater's different. So, I mean, this is like there is no best. I had said that in the earlier episode. There's no such thing as best. There's maybe the best for a certain skater. And you have to tinker around to find what that is. So that's what I like about skateboarding. It's so individual, and there's just so much tinkering that to find your perfect thing. So you can't just look at a pro and go, oh, that pro's riding this and exact thing,
I'm going to
ride that, and I'm going to ride like him. No, he may be way different. He may skate different. He may, have a different style. So you have to tailor it to yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't just copy someone.
Oh, I got a question. What part of the truck, when you're designing it, gives the board the most pop? Like, does the truck affect the pop that you have? Would you say it's a lower center of gravity or a higher center of gravity?
Well, there is some pop affecting your pop would be basically how far away from the tail, let's say. So, you're and also the height of the tail. There's a lot of lot of factors in that.
Yeah.
Also, it's the height of the truck too, because if it's lower, you're going to get it'll pop quicker.
Yep.
But you may not get as big of a pop because when you got more, you got a little bit more room to really get the board to.
So maybe lower trucks, a little bit more techy. You could get better flip tricks, but maybe not as high off the ground where you have a.
And that may be debatable too, because someone may say, no, I like it when because these again, every skater's different. So
somebody might have short legs.
Yeah. It may change that. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of body differences so you have to find, my point is that as a skater, experiment around and find what works best for you. Don't just copy someone. I mean, you can kind of get some tips from them, obviously, but you're going to need to find, it's sort of like, playing guitar, should everyone just copy Jimi Hendrix? No, because they don't necessarily play the same. They don't have as big as hands. I mean, who knows? There's a lot
of learn some stuff from him.
You can learn, and you should learn from every type of person, but you're going to need to find your own groove.
Yeah. Well, I used to get all my friends used to make fun of me because I had a super wide deck when they weren't that popular, and I just skated transition. Everybody wanted to get like the thinnest popsicle board they possibly could, but I was riding really wide.
And that's coming back. Yeah. Thank God.
I couldn't find super wide trucks either to fit my board. So I was always that kid with like the really wide deck and then the little trucks, and it just looked weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I need wider trucks, Donald.
Yeah. Well, hey, Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Thunderbirds.
The Thunderbird. We'll bring back the Thunderbirds.
I need some trucks that can ride in a pool.
So now I'm going to go from the GK4 and the 5 were sort of this look of I was trying to make a super light truck, mainly shave off as much weight as possible. That was my goal back then. And then one of the things I, started looking at my own trucks. Again, I geek out, more than I'm sure anybody as far as trucks goes, but I will stare at these things and just kind of think, God, there's got to be something I can make better. And so one of the things I noticed about Indies and other trucks that were kind of bothering me about mine after I realized it was that this grind surface up here was really thin. The material, it was kind of like I had a really thin profile on the actual grind area on these ones. So I was thinking like, maybe I should redesign a fatter one, like kind of more be closer to the other trucks out there where it had almost like a fatter
So
top.
you're saying it kind of comes up thin here.
Yeah, it's like kind of narrow. You see how it's kind of...
Yeah.
And so this GK6 was the first, and this was probably my most successful truck. I think in GrindKing's history, this is the one that's really got me probably to the number 3 truck company.
What year did those come out?
Gosh, it was like, I think later 90s.
Later, like 98, 99.
Somewhere around there,
Okay.
yeah. And it also, if you notice, this is the first truck that had these holes in the hanger, which was a signature look for a while. And I actually I kind of regret that I went away from that on the Disruptor. I kind of toned my look down. I don't know why. Yeah. When I look at that, I think that's much more not only cooler looking, but it's more functional. It reduces weight.
It's kind of funny.
And it gives it its unique look. That was no other truck had that look.
You called it Disruptor, but then the truck looked like the other trucks. But
Yeah.
this looks like way different than it. I don't think there's any other truck that kind of has
no,
that
not that was my signature look back then, which made it really the best seller, because I think being unique is really what GrindKing's about. It has to be a truck company that's known for innovations and being something that's different, not the same old. So that one had, you could see that you can compare, look at the top at the thickness, we were talking about the thinness to
this was a fat boy.
The fat on the top.
Yeah. There's more surface area.
Yeah.
To grind. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, if you could show the. Yeah, you could see the difference is that it's more grind surface area. And the other thing that I changed was the logo. You could see the logo went to this newer GK, which I ended up not liking as much. I keep changing it because that was one of my problems too, is I kept changing my look so many times. I kind of regret that I did that, but that's part of the evolution. Now I've changed it again, but I think it's
there's been many
best.
big brands over the years that changed their look over time. So
subtle. It's like I kind of have stayed with the G and the K in kind of one unit thing together, where the K is inside the G, and I like that. But I didn't like this one in particular because it had, I don't know, it was kind of clunky, and if you look at one side, it's different shape than the other side. So when I molded the trucks and was trying to figure out how to put it on there, it was a little bit awkwardy. If you look at the Disruptor,
I gotta say, I think GrindKing's they're a sexy truck,
Yeah.
Like they got curves where like other trucks are just like really like edged. Like what kind of, where did that come from?
Because a woman's body. That's where when I design my trucks, there's two things I really think are beautiful, and that's like beautiful cars like Ferraris, and I mean, look at the lines on it. I think they must look at a woman's body too when you look at a Ferrari. But to me, the when you look at a woman's body and the curves, that's what's just like, so it's just beautiful. It's art.
It comes up in engineering too.
And to me, a Ferrari, if you look at Ferraris and some of the supercars, they have those same hips and lines and curves that you see in a beautiful woman's body.
Yeah.
So when I design trucks, it sounds kind of weird, but I'm thinking of those
body.
same hips and those little curves. You'll find those on a woman's body. And the holes, well, never mind.
Creases.
Yeah,
right there.
so
beautiful, Donald.
Yeah. So truck porn.
Elon Musk doesn't appreciate a woman's body.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Cybertruck.
Yeah, the Cybertruck. I'm sorry, Elon. That's not sexy for me. That's maybe, it's like I don't know how would I describe it.
Opposite
It's
of
like,
curvy. It's kind of the opposite of sexy.
Yeah, it's shoeboxy or whatever. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It's not. The straight lines. I mean, I appreciate it on certain things, straight hard lines.
For sure.
But generally, softer lines to me is more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, that thing has become the new punch buggy, especially in LA.
Yeah.
You know, it's like punch buggy, Cybertruck. I see it every time I'm like driving around. I'm like, oh my God.
Well,
man.
you know, it's he missed. You know, a lot of people may love the Cybertruck, and engineering wise, it's cool. I get there's a lot of engineering and it's innovative, so I appreciate that part.
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
trouble is, he did not. Again, going back to first principles. You know,
we keep taking the
it's
first
like-
principles from Elon.
It's like
though.
to
It's
me,
giving us some good
if I
things.
designed the Cybertruck,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'm a truck designer, so I have to like, you know, when I look at cars too, I'm always thinking like, okay, a truck is a utility vehicle. It's supposed to be a workhorse.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a race car. I don't need a truck to go faster than a Ferrari.
You need it to last.
I need a truck to haul a bunch of stuff. I need a truck to be able to be very versatile. Like you might carry a bed one weekend. You might carry lumber. You might carry dirt.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
these are things that a truck, you know, a utility work truck, and the people that are buying these things, you know, they're professionals mostly. You know, there are a lot of people in the work industry. They need trucks to go and do the plumbing work or the framing work or the whatever they're doing, gardening work. And the Cybertruck, I'm sorry, that is not a great work truck. One of the biggest flaws in it, it has this angled bed, which one of the great things about a truck is that when you're, let's say, throwing dirt in there or loading it with lumber, you just, anywhere you stand alongside that bed, you should be able to easily put stuff in.
Yeah.
With the Cybertruck, it gets really high, it goes to the roof line at the top of the bed, so that how are you going to put things over
It's hard to.
on the side? You got to go through the back.
Because in a truck, you just throw it in.
You just throw it
Yeah, you
in.
throw
I
it
do
in.
that all the time in my truck. I just throw stuff in there and just on the sides, not through the back.
I guess you could, like, it's a good camping vehicle.
And the other thing about my a truck too is like you use that back bed. Like I saw wood on there. It's like my saw table. I just run wood and I saw stuff. You can't do that on the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
So they kind of missed the boat on that.
Let me ask you this: Do you think Elon could design a good skateboard truck? Does he have that?
Here's the trouble. Here's my thing with Elon Musk. He could hire someone like me to do the truck, but he doesn't do those. I don't think he designed. He did not design the Cybertruck.
He's not really a designer.
He doesn't engineer those rockets himself. He doesn't.
He pays people to do it.
He didn't even start Tesla.
Yeah, no, it wasn't his
He
company.
bought it from somebody, and that's his MO. He sees good people or something he likes. He buys it usually, and then he hires these amazing engineers to do it. He doesn't really do it himself. I think he's spending too much time on his platform tweeting away or whatever it's called, Xing away.
Xing away. Stay away from GrindKing, Elon.
Yeah.
Stay away.
He's kind of lost some of my admiration because of his politics and his whole not being an engineer. Like I'd be like more about him if he was like, you know, I'm here working on these new designs. I don't have time for tweets and I'm doing all this stuff. I don't, you know, to me, how do you have time to run all these companies when you're on there tweeting all the time? It's a little bit, I don't know, suspicious.
He bought it so he could have a place for his own platform.
When you got that kind of money, you do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. You can build cockroach cars and Cybertrucks. And
So-
don't buy GrindKing, please. Yeah, no.
So anyway, going back to these trucks, the GK6 was my first, I think, it started to really come together. I was like, wow, okay, this is the new GrindKing look. It's got the wider top. It's got my individual, this whole thing here was my, kind of unique look for GrindKing. It still had the hollow base plate.
You're starting to see the V taper
And
too,
what else
a lot
I do?
more. Like, and on this one, you don't really have that V on the front here.
Oh, uh-huh.
This kind of more profound.
Oh yeah, I put a little bit more of gave it a little bit more of a muscular look.
Yeah, it's starting to get like
the
kinda,
hip there. That's the little woman's hip. You might call it.
The creases on the
creases
lower back.
on it. Yeah, and then also I would say there's another thing I noticed. I started to notice was this area of the truck, which is kind of like, I think you call it a slider area or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That I beefed that up to be more suitable for nose and tail slides. It wasn't. If you look at these earlier ones, they were kind of there was a
harsher
angle or something. Yeah,
these kind of protrude out on the other ones.
So this one had a snub nose, like really prominent there, so that it would lock in.
Yeah,
and so that was another change on this. I also had these kind of funky, like trippy bushings that had their own.
They divot in a little bit more.
They kind of went out and then back in.
Yeah,
a little bit clunky looking to me now, but that was sort of again. I kept wanting to change stuff and see if it was better.
Yeah,
and part of being an innovator or inventor, you have to just go for these ideas and try them out, change it. And remember, this is before this new phase, before Team GrindKing and Kick Flipper. I would just do it based on what I thought was cool.
Hope for the best.
And hope it was good. That was, when I look back, that was very risky, and sometimes they didn't work out. Mm-hmm. Now I want to be much more, collaborate with Team GrindKing to make sure that what we're doing, they have some opinions on it. I mean, not everything, but that going forward, that's more the direction I'm welcoming suggestions, feedbacks to like really.
You can still pop out ideas from yourself and then get the feedback and tinker and make it even better and better. You know, what you've been doing. So this new phase is entering.
To shape the future of skate gear, I think it'll be much more successful as a collaboration.
Yeah. I feel like we just keep going back and forth. It's like we go into the past and then into the future, and not just in skateboarding, but in everything lately. Mm-hmm. Go out to the movies and everything's a remake.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but it's like I can't go see a movie without it either being a remake in like the new age, because people are running out of ideas.
Yeah. Well, what I've been watching lately that I think is I get really entertained by it is these completely AI generated movies, sci-fi ones.
Those are so weird.
They're so. I mean, they're first of all like
they're disturbing.
They have but they're getting better. Like now, like I've been watching some. This is one channel of this guy's. I don't know if there's maybe one or two channels, but they have a really intriguing formula. They have these sci-fi remakes but they're like retro sci-fis.
Yeah,
and they have like these beautiful, creations of men and women that are just like the hottest looking bodies. Everything is perfect, and they're a little bit off in some ways because they don't.
The fingers.
Their fingers are still a little bit off, but they're like it's like beautiful people. I mean, they look real. I mean, they look like someone you might see on the faces look incredible.
Can you imagine how many people are getting catfished right now on like dating apps?
Yeah,
it's like not even.
Even a real person. It's a preview as to what's to come, because if it's this good right now,
it's going to be in 10 years. You're going
to create your own any actor you want, any type of look, any type of personality, any type of situation, and you're not going to tell the difference.
Yeah,
it's going to be
depopulation. Is what it's going to be. Nobody's going to be making families anymore because they're just going to have AI.
Well, then they're going to have AI robots with whatever look you want too.
God,
so you can have you can only imagine what that's going to be.
Keep skating.
So, but anyway,
yeah, GK.
So going back, getting back to the truck world here.
Okay, so now
we got the GK6. That one popped off as probably my most successful truck at that up till date. Probably around, I think that was around 90s. Like I said, later 90s.
98, 99.
And then my favorite one, other than, let's say, the axle, which is probably my most, the masterpiece of my truck designs, was the axle truck, which we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But this was the GK7, which was a refined version of the GK6, which, you can see that there. There was a subtle difference on the hanger, and you can see the holes in the truck also were a little bit wider and bigger. And I just like the look of this truck. Was my favorite one up until this point. It still had some of the same kind of features as the other one. I think the base plate remained the same.
It's a little bit wider on where the
tail side area. I might have made that slider area a little bit bigger because I started seeing like, hey, that worked pretty good. And then I refined the hanger to be, to me, a little more sexier. Again, I
keep going back.
it was a hotter looking hanger. But
I love the way you think about these trucks. It's how everybody should think about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at nature has the best everything.
Oh,
the best lines, the best, that's why, women and even animals, they're so pleasing to look at.
Yeah, no, there's some fruit that looks like, certain body parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they just, nature just makes the perfect, most beautiful.
Always.
And it's for a reason, because, there's an attraction, that's ingrained in our, whoever's the master creator has done that on purpose, because that's why they're so beautiful, because they want, there's a procreation need of, like, you're attracted to that.
Yeah.
So nature designs these things to attract you to them. Mm-hmm. And so there you can take lessons from nature and copy it, try and be use the similar ideas from nature to create not just trucks, but cars, furniture. I mean, whatever. I mean, you can take cues from nature to design stuff. One of the things remember when I was really young, I was into this show called The Bionic Man.
Yeah.
You remember that? I don't know if it's before your time.
That's before my time. I know what you're talking about.
But it was like this $6 million man. I think it was called $6 Million Man.
I think that was one of my dad's favorite shows.
Yeah, and it was this guy, Lee Majors, and he was like, they show the beginning of the trailer. He's like a test pilot.
Yeah.
And he crashes. In the beginning, when they show every series, they show this crash, and he just completely destroyed, and he almost dies, but they rebuild him. Uh-huh. And it's like, I remember it was back then.
It's like RoboCop.
We have the technology. We can rebuild him. And it was like the $6 Million Man. So he was like this dude that got, almost killed. He lost all his limbs or whatever and an eye. And they rebuilt him. And 6 million. It's funny because 6 million today would be like,
rebuild a man with $6 million.
You could barely. That'll pay for your medical bills and a regular man.
But not even your funeral.
Yeah, it would be the $6 billion man. Yeah, $6 billion man. Back then it was like, it was really cool because this bionic man, it was the science of bionics, which was, it was like biology meets like bionics, like like robotics or whatever,
organic tech,
biotech.
So,
and it's a real science. Bionics, if you look it up, it's a study of applying nature designs to artificial things. Like you could have a bionic limb, for example, but they also have a bionic. They use it, for example, like let's say a submarine.
Yeah.
A submarine hull is designed to be similar to a dolphin's skin or a whale skin, or I think a dolphin skin, because it apparently the outer hull, it's not just like solid metal. It has like a texture that's similar to a.
So they can kind of speed through underwater.
It goes.
Like
it's much more water hydrodynamic.
Yeah.
And so that was taken. That's an example of bionics.
Yeah, well, people throughout history have always looked at nature and then
a camera. Yeah. The iris of a camera.
Camera obscura.
That's like your eye.
Yeah.
Your eye is like, that's how they came up with that. It was the study of the eye, and then they made a camera. So there's this whole science of looking at nature and using that as a model for what to create that you're trying to simulate from nature.
So true.
And nature does it the best. So of course, why don't you copy nature?
Well, look at the mycelium, the network of mushrooms that are underneath us. It's the same as the internet or networks.
Yeah.
Because you have this whole layer of mycelium. They're all talking to each other. They're talking to the plants.
Well, even artificial intelligence.
AI.
It's based on the neural network of what your brain does. That's
large
how
language
they're
models.
Trying to simulate that of your actual, your thought patterns.
I'm not even going to pretend that I understand that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's becoming more
neural
used
network
than ever, because I think they just everything from creatures that fly, swim, organisms, if you look at them, you can extract technology that can be redone with technology to recreate a similar result.
Yeah.
Another one was like, like even like Velcro, for example. Velcro, there's these things I walk, sometimes you walk it through the...
Oh, in the grass?
Yeah, and they stick to you.
Yeah, I got those on my lawn
and they're so
right
annoying,
now.
they get all over your socks.
Yeah, that's Velcro.
That's basically natural Velcro.
Yeah.
Someone
that's so
went
true.
like, oh, you know what? What if I made a prickly little thing like that?
I hate those things.
Brilliant.
Yeah. They always get stuck in my socks and then...
Yeah. But Velcro's cool.
Velcro works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
so you can take something you hate out of nature and then make it something really cool. And then it's awesome.
That's how. And so similarly, not that I, this is not the Bionic truck, but there is some secrets. If you want to know where I get my curves from, it's truck porn, basically.
Yeah, we know where Donald goes before he starts designing a new truck. So we're deep in. We wanted to try to keep this a little bit shorter.
I think that's it. One last thing I would say about one of my not best innovation, but it was the GK6 that it was the first truck company to offer, and I've done it ever since. Every time you buy a GrindKing truck, you get a free little sticker on there.
And that's on every truck now.
Every truck
does that.
I've done it. Yeah, everyone copied that, I think. Or most people, a lot of people did. And so that was...
It's a simple thing, but it's...
it's
awesome.
I mean, why not give them a free sticker? It makes it kind of cool that you get free advertising if they use it, and you can put something on the back. This one had... let's see, I don't remember what it says. It says... in your hand is the world's best truck. Lie. There's no such thing as the world's best truck. I already said that. Guaranteed against axle slippage and kingpin breakage. Oh yeah, by the way, these had a 300-year guarantee on the kingpin. If you
300 years. Yeah. Wow.
And then special T-shirt offer. Send in this thing, you get I guess a discount on a T-shirt or something. I don't know what the heck. That I don't know if I can. If you still have these, I can't honor that yet because we haven't gotten in making T-shirts. But down the road,
don't read that.
Yeah, yeah. If you still have one of these, I'll honor the special T-shirt offer, whatever that is. But you have to have the original thing here.
Yeah. So
and then that was it. So that was that's it for.
Careful with the.
That's it for the up to GK7 today.
So are we gonna acknowledge the elephant in the room?
Oh yeah. Some of you may wonder what's in there.
What's that?
So in here,
should we show 'em?
Is something that's a top secret new product, and let's see. Let's wait. Let's wait. It can wait. We're running out of time.
Yeah, we don't want to make this episode very long. So here's what's up. Hit like and subscribe. Comment underneath. Let us know how you like the episode, what you want to see next. It is October. It's spooky season.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit Halloween.
We all might be doing something closer to the end of October, the show, to kind of bring back some legendary things. Mm-hmm. So let us know in the comments if you know what that is. So
or what you think that is.
What you think that is. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that's going to be, but it's going to get cool in here. So you really don't want to open the box?
Well, I mean, we're running out of time. You say you want to keep it short.
All right. I'm just excited. All right. Let's end it there. Hit like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Much love. Episode 4. We'll be back. Peace out.